Hi Cardfathers, Fifi Fan here, and in this video I'll be going over tips and tricks as well as a small demo for my Clear Appeal Seredy deck profile that I made. Um, Here I have the basically the core of the deck here. Um, these four would be what the deck revolves around. Here we have the grade 3, or we have the grade 1 that helps you recover multiples of the same name card. We have an on hit. We have an on hit that restands, draws you 2 cards. Another one on hit that restands, draws you 2 cards. And then we have the grade 3 that gives you power for revealing the same name card and finds you an extra copy of your restanders or whatever card you may have. Um, so these four being the core of the deck itself. Next we have gifts and triggers. So the preferred gift obviously is Force 1, just because we have the restanders here and we want to give them as much power as we can. Normally with your gift, you put the gift on whatever column you'll have the restander on. Normally with the restander, you don't even have to have a booster behind it, so you put your boosters on your other columns here. But normally with your gifts, when you get your gift, you don't put them on your vanguard or you don't put them on another rear guard. You put it on the rear guard that'll have the restander on it, or you plan to have the restander on. Next is triggers. You know I play the split triggers. You can always take out 2 of the Grit Sentinels and play 4 drop EGs, and then take 2 of the 20k heals out, and then just play 4 of the grade 3 heal as well. Next, we have the mulligan here. Here I have the mulligan laid out right here in front of you here. So this being your main ride target here. If you have this in hand, you always want to keep it. You know, if not to ride, you can always grab another grade 1 to play other than this, and then keep this in your hand for you to be able to dig through your deck with. Here we have the main grade 2 here. When she hits Vanguard, she goes into either the drop zone or your deck to find an extra copy of this. If you want your deck, you would have to shuffle afterwards. But normally during the grade 1, grade 2, your opponent takes the damage because they need it for their grade 3 turn. So this is just good on hit pressure. If they're smart, they may try to block it, but you know, normally, you know, with how fast the game is, they need the counter blast, so they'll just take it. She also is one of your restanders here. If you have her and you attack and you have 2 extra copies of her, you can drop those 2 and then draw 2. And then with her skill, if she hits the Vanguard, you can just get one of those back. And then once you restand her to attack again, you'll have an extra card to show to give her another 1,000. Next we have the preferred ride choice for grade 3. This is literally your only ride choice for grade 3. If you do not have this for grade 3, you probably don't want to ride onto grade 3. Normally doing grade 2, you might want to discard with this just so you can G assist for this card. I mean, if you're ballsy, you can just hold this in your hand and hope that you'll run into a grade 3, but I'd much rather just pitch this on the off chance I'll grab this. But this is the grade 3 of your choice of the ride line here. This is the only main grade 3. You don't want to ride anything else. This is mainly used for its restanding effect. And then we have 1 of the recycler here. So you counter blast 1 and you soul blast 1, and then you go into your drop. And if you go into your drop, you pick 2 normal units, and if they have the same name, you put them back to your hand. So if your opponent ever, runs into your stuff and snipes your stuff, this is your answer to it. This is the way you recycle things. Because this is the on hit effect, they'll normally try to guard this, so you won't be able to get another one back. But with this one, you don't have to worry about it. You just use a counter blast and a soul blast to get 2 of the same copy. If you have this and say you have another one of these, you can guard with this, then play this, no, say you have one of this in the drop zone, you can guard with this, play this to get them back, and then use your Vanguard effect to grab you a third one from the deck. So when you attack, you discard the two and then draw two, and then if it hits, you can get one back. But this works very well with this skill and the other consistency card, because if you discard it, and like I said, like you have this, you have an extra copy of this, you can just pitch it or guard with it, and then use this to get it back, and then use your Vanguard to get a third one. And last but not least, we have Orlenka. She is your second restander. Really important. You normally want to keep this in your hand if you have it. When you're looking for your grade 3, obviously this is important. But if you can't get that, this is the next best thing. If you see it, you want to keep it. If she hits, you grab one from your drop or grab one from the deck. And if you have more, if you have 2 or more, you can discard them and then draw 2 and restand her. And if she hits again, you can get one back for her restand. And you attack when you attack again, you can show one of the same copy and get the +10 with your Vanguard effect. So this is your optimal hand. This is the most optimal hand you can get. I have Lisa Lot here as an honorable mention, just because she helps you build board quick and helps you get soul if you run out of soul for the great one. So just to back up. Next we have alternative cards here. So this is multiple shrine Marauder. This showed up in my profile for my Lyricore deck, but this also works very well for this one as well. She says when placed, you counterblast one, draw a card, look up at the top 7 cards of your deck, and then write a grade 2 from among them as stand, and then shuffle your deck. So deck thinning is deck winning. The less normal cards that you have in the deck, obviously more triggers that you'll have. And if your opponent crits you, this is not a name once per turn. So if you play this, you get this from your top 7, you can also play it again, grab you another draw, and then search again for maybe this here, or like a Lisa or something like that. But not only does this give you soul, this gives you a draw, and it filters your deck. Along with having her, if you are going to play her, because this deck, counterblast for this and counterblast for this, I would say that's pretty counterblast heavy. If you are going to play this, then I would also recommend you play at least 2 copies of Spiana here. She says when placed, you may return 1 card with the same name as a grade 3 on your VRR from your drop zone to the deck, and if you return the card, you shuffle and countercharge 1. So I would say if you're going to play copies of this, you will play at least 2 copies of this. Maybe take out one of the consistency cards for 2 copies of this. Maybe take out the other consistency card, that one, and then maybe another one of these. But like I said, this runs on consistency. So if you do want to try that, you can. I would just say if you're trying this, always have at least 2 copies of the countercharger here. So you can take 4 copies of your Aqua out and play this, and then play 2 copies of this. You'll take one of these out, and the other one of the great one that helps filter. Next we have strengths. So with this deck here, it is very powerful. Having extra copies and showing with your Vanguard, especially with the restanders, it can literally end games and end games quick. With this deck, you normally want to go first, just because it takes time to set up. Your first grade thing can be pretty deadly if you have the 3 copies or the 2 copies to discard for your restanders. And that's also another reason why not playing 4 draw triggers is okay, because you have the restanders here that'll draw you 2 cards. Also recovery, because you have like least slot that recovers you a fill if your stuff is been decimated, and then this here grabs 2 cards of the same name. So very strong. Now the weaknesses, because this deck is about a year old, it is not as fast as the new meta stuff. So it does take time to set up, which is the reason why going first is probably the best for this deck. And right now in the meta, going first is really important. So there aren't any decks that is willing to that are willing to relinquish their first turn. So if you get it, this is a first turn deck. If you get a chance to go first, then you do go first. Pieces, it is quite piece reliant because you have to have extra copies of the restanders to be able to use them effect. Not being able to restand on your first grade 3 turn is pretty much an ouchie because effectively it just becomes a 3 attack deck. 4 attack at best, but if you don't have the pieces, then it's just a 3 attack deck. And if your opponent's playing protect or just happens to have multiple perfect guards, then they can just run over you. That counter offense can just run over your stuff. So at the mulligan, next I'll be doing a demo here. So because the deck wants to go first, I'll probably be doing a go first hand here. Like I said, this is by no means a competitive deck, but it is fun. For it to be 1 year old, I'm kind of regretting not playing it when it came out. But with Orange and Lupina, it was just really fun playing those decks. So I played those most. Like I did play Lyricore a couple times, and I just wasn't a fan the first go around. But after my deck profile, after playing with it, with the Hill Guardians and stuff like that, I just found I got a second win with that one, and it wasn't so bad. Being able to clear your opponent's board, it's just really funny to me. Maybe not to your opponent, but it's quite fun for me. But this one has been quite fun. This one can still gains if your opponent is just not paying attention. And with the extra on hit pressure, your opponent kind of runs out of shield really quickly because they're just too worried about your stuff hitting and you being able to search and get them back. Okay, so we're going first. 3, 4, 5. Let's see what we got here. Grade 3, Hill Guardian. So things we want to keep. This one. And this one for sure. 1, 2s, and 3s are always grateful. You never want to ride this, but you always have a chance to grab another grade 1. So you always keep it because you want to see it for your recovery plays. So these 3 you'll keep, and then these 2 you'll put back. And so you'll draw your top 2 here, and put these 2 back. One thing I do like about this deck is pretty straightforward. It's really easy to pilot, not nothing that takes a lot of brain power, so it is quite fun for the Unga Bunga stuff. But I do like the aesthetic. It's really pretty. That's kind of what I like Bermuda for, is the aesthetic. I will say when I first started the game, I was not a fan. My first clan was actually Pale Moon. I just like the killer circus aesthetic a little bit better. And then as time went on, my favorite deck now, or my favorite clan now, is Genesis. Just gods and goddesses, and just the whole aesthetic is just really nice. So now I have, as my main clans, I have Pale Moon, I have Bermuda, and then I have Genesis. Okay, so starting off here, this is our hand, and we will draw for turn. So heal, not so good, but that's fine. So you did not find your preferred ride target for grade 1, so this will work just as well. You will ride, and you will draw a card, so you just shield galore, I guess. Another thing I will say is you don't really need to take damage early, just because this only requires counterblast 1 for your first grade 3 turn. So maybe like Garden is fine. The only time I would say like Garden early is will not be okay is if you're playing the alternative card, because during your grade 2 you'll need it. So going first, you have your card, you have your hand here. They attack you. You want to go out early just because that's when they have the most. That's when they have the most triggers in their deck. So guarding early is fine. Yeah. Or actually here. Because you have Aqua in your hand, if you had another like grade 1 unit, you would play it and then use Aqua's effect to bounce something back. But you did not, so that's fine. So you guard it. Next up, you have Setna. So with this being your primary target for grade 2, you'll play this. Then you would play Setna behind it to search for your grade 3. Your grade 3 of choice will be Relinka. So just check top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or another copy of Seredy. But since you need a restander, this will probably be it. If you already had this in your hand, then obviously another copy of Seredy would be the optimal choice, because you need your you need the markers for power. With Vanguard being somewhat luck based, shuffling is just really important. So make sure you're doing that, optimally, more optimally, I think, or you're doing it the most optimal. You're doing it the most optimal way possible. So you got your grade 1 or you got your grade 3. You can toss one of your triggers, and we have it under here. You could play your Aqua and add it back and draw a card. And then you discard a card here. You can discard Setna, or I draw this trigger, and I'll discard the trigger to keep it, because this is worth more anyway. And then you can play Setna again. Check into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is already setting up for a really good grade 3 turn. Okay, so you have here just to put you'll have this here just to put the trigger on if you do get the trigger. So you grab that and then you can toss this. So your first grade 3 restanding is already on online. You have this to play. Then you use your Vanguard's effect to find you another one, and then you have 2 to discard and draw 2. If you have your consistency cards, go ahead and use them immediately. Use them fast as possible because you want to get to your win condition as fast as possible. So we have the column here that's on hit. Now, because this gives +5, your opponent normally is just not going to block this. This is 10, 20. This is 10, 20, 23. Attack. Top card, got a critical trigger. Give it a critical here. And then 10 here. And you check for this one. Since it's not another unit in the same column, you just check for 20 here. So next turn, you want to take damage. So, you know, normally you want to take the Vanguard hit just in case, you know, you guard it and then they try to just attack your rear guard and not give you any damage. So if they attack you with the Vanguard, you know, just take the Vanguard hit. You know, 1 damage here, another damage here. Fine. Then you would go ahead and stand and draw for your turn here. So we got Lisa Lot. You would play Seredy here, and like I said, with your markers, you want to put a marker on the column that you will be putting your restander on. So you put it over here on that side. Then you want to get jiggy with it here. You'll play a grade 3 and use Seredy effect, and you'll find another copy of Relinka. Okay, you add to your hand here. So if you have a boost, if you had a booster, then you could put it behind Aqua here, but we do not, and we want to save our Lisa Lot for our recovery turn. So then you would attack with Vanguard first. And so this is 13, and this gets +5 for same column here. So 13, 13, this is 26. First check. Second check, so nothing, nothing. If you were to have gotten a crit, then you will put it on your restander. You never want to give it to Vanguard unless you're going for a kill, because your restander obviously restands, obviously. So then you would attack with Relinka. You use Vanguard skill and you show 2. Relinka would get +2. She's at 13, 23, 33, 43. And then you use Relinka's skill to discard these 2, stand her, and draw 2. So that was 13, 23, 33, 43. If it were to hit, you get 1 back to your hand. Other than that, you wouldn't. So we'll say for this one, they did hit. And then you would attack again. Using Vanguard skill, you show Relinka. And so it would get +10. So this is 13, 23, 33. and if it hit, you get another one back. Let's just say it did, and then there you go. Here you go. You have the recovery. Say they didn't hit for whatever reason, or say only one hit for whatever reason, and the next turn you took 2 damage, 3 damage, whatever, and they killed this. Your next turn, when you would stand, if you had the grade 1 for recovery, then you'd have recovery off. Obviously, you get two of these cards back. If you didn't, then you would want to try to guard that as much as possible. But that is the end of the tips and tricks and demos. I hope this helped. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.